Do you know that $250,000 is actually halfway to a million? No, not mathematically. Don't open your calculator. This isn't a TED Talk lie. It's halfway in terms of effort, time, and psychology. Because the road from zero to $250,000 and the road from $250,000 to $1 million are two completely different sports. One is crawling uphill with groceries. The other is coasting downhill on a bike you didn't know had a motor. Let's start with the ugly part. The first quarter million is brutally boring. No fireworks, no wow moments, no year where you wake up and think, yes, the money worked while I slept. It's mostly you, your savings, your discipline, your boring automatic transfers. The market helps, but barely enough to feel emotionally rewarding. That's why people quit here. They look at their account and think, I've been doing this for years and it still doesn't feel like anything. And the brutal truth is that's how compounding works early. Let's keep this simple. If you save $10,000 a year, it's about $833 a month, and earn a reasonable 8% annual return. It takes about 13 to 14 years to hit $250,000. And here's the insulting part. Most of that money came from you, not the market. The market is like a lazy group project partner early on. It technically shows up, but you're doing all the work. That's why it feels slow, because it is slow. Now, here's where things get sneaky. Once you cross $250,000, compounding stops whispering and starts clearing its throat. At 8%, $250,000 earns about $20,000 a year. That's more than many people save annually. So now the math starts pulling weight. Your money finally clocks into work instead of watching you do all the heavy lifting. This is why $250,000 is halfway, not in dollars, but in momentum. Now let's talk about the lever most people underestimate, your savings rate. If you invest $500 a month at 8%, congrats, because you'll hit $1 million in about 33 years. But here's the thing, people miss. Small increases compound hard. Bump that to $1,000 a month. Now the timeline collapses. You can think of it like you're trying to buy your future time back. This isn't about grinding harder. It's about closing the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Wealth isn't built by people who make the most. It's built by people who keep the most. Now let's talk about the danger zone, the messy middle where good plan go to die. This is the phase where you're no longer broke, but nowhere near rich. I call it the why am I still stressed phase. This is where people make three big mistakes. The first mistake is overcomplicating everything. You finally get traction and suddenly decide you're a hedge fund, crypto schemes, option strategies, private deal your cousin can't talk about yet. And here's the truth. The boring strategy that got you to $250,000 is usually the one that gets you to $1 million. Don't abandon a working engine because you got bored listening to it. The next mistake is lifestyle creep. This one's sneaky. You don't splurge, you just slowly upgrade everything. Nicer car, bigger rent, more subscriptions you use sometimes. Your income goes up, but your savings rate stays flat. That's not progress. That's running on a faster treadmill. Last is ignoring help when things get complex. Early on, DIY is great, but later on, when things got complicated, taxes, kids, businesses, inheritance, stock comp. At some point, getting professional advice is necessary. You don't perform surgery on yourself just because you watched a YouTube video. Quick reality check. Your emergency fund should also exist, but it shouldn't be asleep. Cash sitting in a checking account earning 0% is like parking money in a folding chair. High yield savings, money market funds, your cash should at least stretch its legs. An emergency fund is boring, but it shouldn't be optional. An emergency fund is the reason you don't panic sell, you don't swipe credit cards, you don't undo years of progress in one bad month. Attack this aggressively, because nothing destroys wealth faster than being forced into bad decisions. Here's what no one tells you. The early years test discipline, the middle years test temperament. The people who win aren't smarter, they're calmer, They don't chase excitement. They don't panic during boredom. They let math do what math does. And one day, quietly, your investments start contributing more than you do. No announcement, no trophy, just a balance that grows even when life is noisy. So if you stay consistent, the part that felt impossible will someday feel inevitable. That's how wealth actually works: quiet, unsexy, relentless, and worth the wait. Hope this video helped reframe how you think about money and building wealth process. Please hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone you know who might feel behind. Because the truth is, they're probably right on schedule, and they just don't know it yet. Thank you so much for watching.